How was your first crush experience? So I had a crush on this girl for a long time, right? My first crush. I can remember my first crush. So let me think of another name for them. Give me a name that begins with like K. Give me a name that begins with K. Cat. Cat. Okay, we'll go with Cat, sure. So there was this girl called Cat, right? Was a girl called Cat? Wait, hold on. Is Cat short for something? I don't think I've ever seen someone called Cat before. Is it short for something? Kathleen. Catherine. Wouldn't the shortened version of Catherine be Kath though? Not Cat? I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, beside the point. So there was this girl called Cat. I was like 6 or 7 years old, and you know, it's just like young crush love or whatever. And I thought she was really pretty. I really liked her. And I thought she was funny. I invited her to my house one time, and I lived in this really shitty flat with a shared garden, and the shared garden didn't have grass. It had like dirt. And I remember making like a dirt pie, like a mud pie, you know, not to be eaten, but if you know what I'm talking about, you've ever made those before. It's just like a big lump of mud that you make it look like a pie or whatever, right? So I made that to try and impress her while she was over. And then I got my mum came in and she was like, yo guys, I got you like some food ready if you want to eat it. And I wanted to look cool in front of her. So I was like, no. And then I grabbed a big handful of the mud and I threw it at my window. And my mum got pissed. So pissed off. Which is very understandable because I was trying to look cool in front of her. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway. Later that day, Cat, was that the name we went with? Cat went home. And I told my mum that I like really like her, but I don't know what to do. And she said, well, you should tell her. I was like, okay, so does that mean I should write a letter or something? She was like, well, you could just tell her in person. And I was like, I think I'll just write a letter. She was like, well, why don't you just walk up to her and like verbally tell her that you like her though? And I was like, because if I write it, then I don't have to say anything. She was like, okay, whatever. It's like, okay. And I got my pen and paper out and I started writing a love letter to Cat. And it was basically like, dear Cat, I really love you. Will you be my girlfriend? And so, I read that. Oh no, I'm just remembering where the story goes. I don't know if I should say the rest of the story. Okay, big, like, weird advisor warning, okay? Like, the ending of this is very weird, okay? And, like, odd, okay? And, like, uncomfortable for some. It might be uncomfortable, okay? Right, so, basically, I literally just remembered the ending, so sorry. Basically, I went in the next day, and I gave that letter. And then I lined up for class. Then, we lined up, we went into like our classes and stuff, and then after school, she walked up to me and she went to go talk to me. And so dude, I don't know, like, okay, listen. So we were like 7 years old, right? I don't know much. 7-year-old doesn't know much. Okay, we're dumb. But she said to me, "Oh, okay. I'll go out with you if we have sex." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know what that was at the time, obviously. And I don't think she knew what that was either, because we're both like 7 years old. So what I'm assuming is she probably had like a misconception of what that means, right? Obviously. Like, I think that's pretty obvious, because even I didn't know what that meant at the time. But so that's what she said, and I went, "Okay." And then we just were like, "Okay, bye." And then we went back, right? And when I was 7, I had to get picked up by my mum. So here's the kicker, okay? Here's the absolute kicker. The part you've all been waiting for. Oh God. So my mum had to pick me up from school, right? Because I was too young to go home myself. So she knows that I wrote the letter and gave it to her that day. So she came up to me and she was like, "Oh, hello, mister. How was your day? Did you have a good time at school?" I was like, "Yeah, mom, had a good time." She was like, "Oh, did you give the letter to Kat?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And she was like, "Oh, what did she say?" And then I was like, "Oh, she said, yes, but only if I have sex with her." And my mum fucking whipped her head around. Dead fucking pan, straight face, anger eyebrows, and was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, she said yes, as long as I have sex with her. And she went, "What?" And then we moved away from that school. She moved me out of the school. And I never went to the school again. And I never saw Kat again. So yeah. So yeah, that's why I moved away from that school, and then I moved to another school. Which, honestly, I don't know if that's an over-exaggeration or not. I think as a parent, if my kid said that and they're 7 years old, maybe I'd do the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, chat? It is an over-exaggeration, you're right. It's an over-exaggeration, but I can understand it, at least. So that was my first crush experience. My God. So she's still your girlfriend because you never broke up with her? Well, no, she wasn't my girlfriend because I didn't have sex with her. That was like the condition, remember? I didn't even know what sex was. I was 7. Like, I didn't even know what that was. The funny part was how innocent I was. I was so innocent about it. Because she was like, "Yeah, if we have sex." And I literally, like, I just wanted to have a girlfriend. So I was like, "Okay, sure." And I was so happy when I told my mom. I was like, "Yeah," she said, "yeah, as long as I have sex with her, it'll be all good. I'll have a girlfriend." I was so fucking happy about it. And innocent. What do you think sex was? I don't know. I didn't think about it. Like, in my head, the fact that she already said yes at the beginning, like, she said yes if, but I didn't hear anything past yes. I only heard yes, and then I was like, "Oh, yippee!" Did Mama Rios explain what it was after that? No. There was one time, actually, I was in class. I didn't learn about what sperm was until I was like 10 years old. Because I was in class, right? And I got a book. And it was like an anatomy book or whatever. Like a biology book. And there was like sperm cells. But it was like the close-up, like visual representation of sperm cells. So they look like little, you know what they look like, right? Like they look whatever. So I went to the teacher. I was like, No, first of all, I was arguing with this girl who was sitting next to me. So she was like, what's that? Yeah, they look like tadpoles. And she was like, what's that? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, oh, I think they're this. I don't remember what she said, but she was like, I think they're this. And I was like, no, I think they're like nails. They look like fingernails. Like my brain thought they were fingernails or something for some reason. I was like, I think they're nails. And she's like, no, they're not. They're obviously this. So then the girl was like, Miss, what is this in the book that Mister's holding? And then she brought the teacher over, and then she pointed at things. I was like, these are nails, right? She was like, oh, this is a sperm cell. And I was like, what? What is a sperm? She's like, that's what comes out of your fucking dick. And then the awkward part was, because this girl asked like my teacher to come over and explain what sperm was, the teacher then decided, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to start talking to my whole class about sex ed and like what cum is. So she started explaining what sperm was to like the whole class, but that's not inherently embarrassing. What's embarrassing is they were like, as you can see, Mister got really curious and asked a very good question about sperm. Mister did. So I think everyone should learn from this, because if Mister's curious about this, then I'm sure everyone will be. I felt so embarrassed. I was like, why are you saying this? Why are you telling them? Just explain what it is. You don't have to drag me down. And I didn't even ask you to begin with. It was the girl sitting next to me. Like, bro.